There's a buzz phrase in the business world that's been circulating since the pandemic. Businesses began to realize that they had to make some harsh cuts to save their business from ultimate failure, and that they could trim some fat and still have a great team with a great product, a thriving process without all the headache and financial strain of full-time salaried employees, especially at the executive level. Today we're going to talk about fractional help. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Creativity Made Easy podcast. My name is Dustin Peed, creative coach and consultant, and I help creatives know themselves, their process, and their teams so that they can create greater things together. If you're one of those people or you're a creative person, you fall into that category, I'm so glad you're here. Side note, I think all people are creative, so that means you. Before we get started, I want to remind you that you can watch this podcast. If you're only listening to it, you can watch it on YouTube. And if you're there, I would love for you to subscribe, like, and ring the bell so that you're notified every time a new episode is dropped or any new content is dropped there. If you're watching this and you would rather listen to it, you can find it also on all audio podcast platforms. Would love a subscription there as well. And if there's an opportunity for you to rate or review, that would be super appreciated as well. You can find me on social media at Dustin Peed. That's P-E-A-D. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the normal spots. You can also find me on dustinpeed.com, where all of my services and products are there for you to take a look at as well. If there's any way that I can help you in your creative journey, if I can help you know yourself, your process, and your team so you can create greater things together, would love to chat with you. Click on the Let's Talk button while you're there. Lastly, we're getting closer and closer to my first book release. Growing Upward is about my journey through mental health in the first 40 years of my life. It's a bit of a memoir, and so I just wanted to share that with the world. I think it's something that I need to contribute to. You can hear more in a couple episodes ago where I really kind of broke down the behind the scenes backstory as to why I wrote that book, but we're in the final stages of editing and getting ready to roll that out, but you can pre-order that book at dustinpeed.com/store. And if you pre-order it, you'll get a free audio version of it when it releases, and you'll get a free early copy of any additional PDFs or chapters that we release as well. So, on to today's show, fractional help. You've heard me talk about this probably more so on my blog than on the podcast, and so I just wanted to hop on here and kind of explain what does this mean. Now, first of all, for the people who are considering fractional help, you need to know that basically this is just a way to eliminate some of the nonsensical headaches that come along with some executive roles. Like I said in the intro, there's a lot of people during the pandemic that realized that they didn't really need a full-time CFO, right? Or a full-time COO or full-time CMO. Any of the C-level stuff, they realized that, you know what, we could probably scale this back a little bit and still keep the same solid effectiveness. So for you, if you're a fractional person to come in and help companies do this, you can make that impact with them, but not just with one company. You can do it with multiple organizations. This is broadening your impact to impact others at the same time. Now, if you're a small business or a solopreneur or a creative agency, listen, rather than paying a C-suite executive, which is going to cost you probably six figures, and taking up some unnecessary room in the budget that could help you scale up, businesses have learned to trim the fat and hire fractional contractors instead to take on these roles. And that's what I've been doing. I've been taking on roles of a fractional COO, and which is a chief operating officer for a creative agency. And I've also been taking on a role as fractional chief creative officer as well for other agencies and helping them broaden their horizons on what they can do and how they can possibly expand in the realm of creativity within the organization. So businesses often receive in return the same, if not greater quality work, wait for it, for a fraction of the price of a full-time employee. That's why it's called Fractional Help. This is fantastic for creative operations people like me who love to just come in enough to be able to clean up the mess, reorganize, step back, and watch the stress fall off the owners while they scale their business like never before. Now, back in late 2023, I realized that I had this gift to be the person for creative agencies and solopreneurs and small business owners. And I started by helping out a friend of mine in his creative agency he had started a few years back. And he had hired me to do some video editing work, which obviously I do. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm editing this video as well. He hired me. He got on a call with me and proceeded to brief me on the project that I was going to be helping him edit. After about 45 minutes, he stopped and said, "Oh no." He said, "I realized that for the last 45 minutes, I've been briefing you on the complete wrong project." And so we both kind of laughed about it. And I half jokingly said, "Well, you should hire me as an operations person for you so that you can kind of get your head around all this stuff, you know?" And into the phone cordially. We talked about the project for a second, and then we moved on into the phone call. He reached out to me about an hour later and said, "Hey, were you serious about that, about wanting to help?" I said, "Yeah, man, I would love to. That's where I really feel like I thrive, is in those in the intersection of creativity and organization, right? That you can still be creatively inspired, but you can be organized to get the things done that you actually want to get done." And so that began a relationship, professional relationship with me and my friend that still exists today. And I've helped him have the best couple of quarters of his entire professional life in this creative agency. And so I can do that for you too. I've got maybe 2 spots open left for some fractional help. So if you or anyone you know could benefit from that, I would love for you to reach out. But essentially, it's making the big impact that you can make at a fraction of the cost and the time that you would pay someone 6 figures in that salary role. If you'd love to know what that looks like for you, head to my website, dustinp.com, click on the Let's Talk button, and we can chat about what that may look like for you and how we can help scale your business like never before. So if you're a solo creative or creative agency and looking to level up, hop on my calendar. I would love to chat with you. Next time, we're going to talk about coaching versus consulting. I think this gets very confusing. It was very confusing for me as recent as a year ago. And after much research, I think I finally got this thing figured out what the difference is. And so I'd love to share with you, whether you're an aspiring coach or consultant, or whether you're considering hiring a coach or consultant. It's important for you to know the difference between the two. That'll be our next episode 76. I cannot wait to talk to you then on the Creativity Made Easy podcast.